Kicking the habit is hard, but every new year, many smokers vow to do it. Our Nick Giovanni spoke with an expert about how to be successful.
Now is the time for making a resolution for 2021. And a common one is to quit smoking. But how do you actually stick with it and pull it off? Well, let's ask Dr. Nancy Rigotti, director of Mass General's Tobacco Research and Treatment Center, who's also a Harvard Medical School professor. Doctor, appreciate you spending some time with us here. You look at the numbers, 34 million adults in the U.S. identify as smokers. How much would you say that fluctuates at the beginning of each year with people wanting to at least try and give up that habit?
Well, we know that about 70% of smokers say that they want to quit. Many of them wish they'd never started and didn't think they'd still be smoking. So I think that's why there's still plenty of people who are trying to make a resolution to quit, because most smokers wish they weren't anymore.
70% are trying
Yes.
or want to. That's an amazing number there. On average, how long do you say people typically last in these New Year's attempts to quit? And what are the biggest roadblocks or factors that keep people from actually sticking with it?
Well, the hard part about quitting is that you need to do two things. You need to break an addiction to nicotine, and that's part of the problem. But then you also need to break a habit that you've had as part of your life, so that every time you finish a meal or whatever, you have a craving for a cigarette. And so you really need to be both breaking the addiction part, which we use medicines for to help us with, and then also the habit, which is really learning how to change some of your basic habits. You need to change the way you go about doing things. So it takes a while for people to practice, and often people will try to quit for a short time, but not stay quit for a long time. So it's kind of like learning to ride a bicycle. If you try and you fall off, if you get back on and learn from your experience, eventually you can be successful in quitting. Most people do eventually succeed in quitting.
I can't imagine the pandemic is helping anyone who's turning to smoking to try and deal with stress, speaking of habits.
We know that smoking actually increases the risk of having a bad outcome, a severe COVID infection should you get it. And so it's especially important for smokers to try to quit at this time. To protect themselves not only from all the other things, all the other bad health effects of smoking, cancer, etc., but also to make sure that they don't have a bad case of COVID should they get it.
What are some of the keys to actually quitting?
Well, we know the best way to quit is to use two tools. One of them is to use a medicine to help you break the addiction to nicotine. And then the other is to get some support, counseling or general sort of habit-changing support. And that you can get by telephone counseling. You can get it by text messaging programs. There's lots of ways to get it, and lots of ways to get that kind of help can be done remotely when you're not able to leave your house so much. There's a website, www.quitnow.gov, or the state tobacco quit line, which is 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Both of them can provide help, advice to quit, help to quit, and some of them also the telephone quit line can also offer some free nicotine replacement samples to help people get started.
Dr. Rigotti, cannot thank you enough for your time. Appreciate the insight.
Sure. Thank you.